Today on the podcast, we have my friend Jenzea. Jenzea is a Facebook ads strategist, toddler mama, and spreadsheet lover. As the founder of JD Teacherpreneur Marketing, a boutique Facebook ads agency, she helps ambitious course creators, service providers, and coaches amplify lead generation, grow their email list, and ultimately make more money with their amazing offers. Jenzea has helped me with my ads, and she helps so many others. And we really talk about not just ads, but kind of marketing as a whole. She actually drops a really good organic marketing strategy. So even if you're not ready for ads, this episode is going to be for you. She'll tell you when you should start running ads, kind of how to set up that process, what that looks like, how much money you should be spending a day on ads. It's a really great episode, so let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to the Course Creation Mama podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay Bowden, and we are here with Jenzea, the Facebook ads expert. She is just so smart with Facebook ads. She's helped me a lot with mine, and I can't wait to ask her all the things about Facebook ads for course creators. So welcome, Jenzea.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so tell us kind of who you are, what you're doing now. How do you help people with Facebook ads?
So I am a former classroom teacher, sort of. I'm still in the classroom 1 day a week, and I started running Facebook ads about 3 years ago now for my own business, and it has kind of snowballed from there, where I now help other teacher business owners, course creators, coaches, that type of group of people run Facebook ads for their businesses, primarily to generate new leads, make sales.
Awesome. So you started running ads yourself and then you started transitioning into helping other people. How did that happen?
So I, if I remember correctly, I posted in a group that I was part of, like, I'm running my own ads and I was looking for some help. And somebody was like, "Oh, can you help me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we kind of muddled through those waters together. And that happened a few times. And then somebody reached out, was like, "Can I pay you to do my ads?" And it's like, I mean, is that really a thing? And that's when I learned about, like, the multi-billion-dollar industry that is Facebook ads
Mhm.
and Instagram ads, like Meta's ads, really. So it was kind of just an accident. I wasn't like actively looking for clients or like trying to make this my business. It just kind of, yeah, happened. So once I got my first paying client, we kind of went through that process together, stumbled through it, I guess, together. I got another client a very similar way. And then I was like, I think I could make this a thing. Like, I think I'm good at it. I know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm doing, like, doing something. Like, this isn't just me fumbling around with my own ads. I'm actually able to help people. And when I was in university in Canada, where I am, you do your undergraduate degree, then you have to apply to what's called Teachers College, and you apply in like November, and then they don't tell you until April if you get in. So there's this really long waiting period. And in that waiting period, I was telling all my friends, like, if Teachers College doesn't work out for me, I'm going to go into marketing. Like, I'm going to be a marketer. Like, I'm going to go into marketing. So now I feel like this accidental happenstance is a collision of the best two parts of my life and my past, of like wanting to get into marketing and also the teaching side, and I get to do both of them.
That's really cool. I like that story a lot. So, okay, do you primarily run ads for people or are you also teaching people how to DIY their own ads? Do you do both?
I primarily run ads for people. I do have a course, um, a Facebook ads course that has recently been put into the vault.
Oh,
So because of the changes and updates to the platform, it wasn't accurate anymore. And so until I have the time and space to re-record the modules, it needed to go into the vault. So um primarily it is running ads for others. And also I do strategy sessions too. So we kind of do it together. You share your screen and I can help you kind of stumble through the ads manager yourself, so that you feel confident that, I'm seeing your screen. I know, you know what you're doing. It's a little bit less intimidating that way.
yeah, because I swear every time I log into my business suite, something is different. I'm like, can you guys just keep it the same for like a month because this is so stressful. And my students, I help them with Facebook ads sometimes, and yeah, it would be so hard to just have a Facebook ads course because you would have to be re-recording videos all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at. There's a couple of things that I was like, I'll just address this on the live office hours, but it's to the point where it was, no, I can't. It's so different that I can't just address it on a live office hours. It's so different that I really need to re-record. So yeah, that it needed to go in the vault.
Yeah, I just saw that they took away the aggregated event measures and it's huge changes that they make really without telling us. Until you log in, you don't see it and you're like, oh great, something new.
Well,
But
and I'm in multiple accounts, right? Like I have all my client accounts. And so there's some, like right now they're changing the audiences. And so
yeah,
some of my accounts I log in and it's the new Advantage Plus audiences. I'm not sure if that's what they're calling it or not, but it's the new, and then some of them, it's still the old way of doing it. And there's been some features that roll out over 3 to 6 months and I gradually get them and eventually it's all, but then there's other features that it never gets to everybody. So I'm always curious when a new feature rolls out, like, is this going to be everybody or is this just select accounts? How long is this going to last? So yeah, it's so fun.
yeah, I have two Meta accounts, one for my teacher business and one for my course business. The teacher one doesn't have the new audiences yet, and the course does. So I'm like, ah, can this be any more confusing? Which is
And the
why,
first time I saw it, I was like, I need the other way. How do I get the other way? I need the other way.
yes,
I
yeah,
was
because
so like, there's a button, but I was so stressed that I couldn't find it. And I feel like that happens a lot with people on the ads manager platform of just like, we are so stressed about like, where's this thing that I'm trying to find? And then you start spinning and the more you spin, the more stressed you get. Like it literally took me half an hour to find the button because I was and I'm in there every single day. Right. So if you're never in there, it's your first time, like it's so overwhelming. And then changes happen and you're like, I just figured it out. Why?
that is so true. I feel like we're scaring people away from Facebook ads. We still both love Facebook ads, so it's
Absolutely. Yes.
doable. But if you are in the beginning stages and you've just like maybe even peeked inside ads manager and you're like, this seems impossible, you're not alone because everyone feels like that, even people that are doing it all the time. And it is possible. It's just it's a skill that you have to learn or you pay someone else to help you with it. So don't be scared of Facebook ads. And just before we get into like all the Facebook ad stuff, I did want to clarify because a lot of people will ask me, well, how do you run Instagram ads? Well, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, Meta. And actually, I think Facebook is now called Meta. But when you sign up for an ads account, you can run ads to both your Facebook/Meta page and your Instagram. So they're the same thing, basically. Just to clear that up.
As an important, a very important clarification.
Okay, so let's kind of start in the beginning. How, this is like such a huge question, so it could really go anywhere, but how does the process kind of work of Facebook ads? Like, how are Facebook ads helping people earn money? You know, kind of what kind of person would use a Facebook ad? Kind of start us from the very beginning if someone really doesn't really know anything about ads.
So the most important thing I think everyone needs to know about ads is that they're a traffic source. So they are all ads are doing, no matter what type of ad you're running, it's really just getting more eyes on the thing you're promoting. Similar to like one of those big, oh, I'm losing the word now. I was going to say bulletin board, but that's not the word I'm looking for.
Billboard.
The ones that are like billboards, yes, on the highway. That's
Yes.
more eyes on that realtor's business or the car that they're trying to sell, right? And Pinterest, you're same thing, more eyes on whatever you're pinning. So I think that that's the most important piece of information is that Facebook and Instagram ads are additional traffic to what you're promoting. And there's 3 different things that typically you're going to be promoting. The first one that I recommend everyone start with is lead generation. So you're promoting your freebie or a video training, a video series, some way that you can get new people onto your email list. The second one is content. You can promote blog posts, podcast episodes, Instagram or Facebook posts so that you get more eyes just on your brand those are nurture ads or visibility ads. So you're just becoming more aware to people. You're using that content to nurture. And then the third type of ads are sales ads, where it is going to something that is for sale. And that's the order that I recommend people run them in, is the list building ads first, brand awareness or visibility ads second, and then sales ads third, because a lot of our selling these days should be happening primarily from your email list. That's my opinion. And so we're selling primarily to the warmest audience that we have, which is the people who are opening our emails. And we're using everything else that we're doing, the content, the social media, any live videos or podcasts or anything that we're doing like that, as nurture to build the relationships. Even your weekly emails should be building the relationship and nurturing your audience. And so the bigger your email list is, the bigger your warm audience is. And then when you do go to sell, if you have a launch, an open cart, whatever way you're going to do that, those are the people that you're going to buy, that are going to buy from you. And then once you're at a point where you want to start retargeting sales ads, it would just go to those warmest people who have shown some sort of interest in whatever you're selling. And so again, the list building ads make that warm audience bigger, which is why I think it's important to start there.
Yeah. So, and I feel like a lot of course creators, when I do this, they want to run an ad directly to their sales page, like as their first ad. And maybe they're selling a course for like $197. And just, I tell themselves, okay, think about if you are on Facebook and you had never heard of this person before. Everyone has seen those pictures and they say sponsored. That means it's an ad. That's a Facebook ad. They click on it and it takes them to a sales page and someone wants them to pay $197 when they've never heard of this person before. Most likely you're not going to do that. You need to start building that know, like, and trust factor, which is what Jinsei is talking about. So starting with ads that help build your email list. In fact, I've been running ads for 6 years now, and I've never run an ad to a sale, like directly to my course sales page. I only run lead gen ads. I have run a couple of purchase ads to like mini offers, so like
Yes.
$7, $17.37, but never directly to an online course. I sell in my emails. So don't think that you can just run an ad and get a sale directly. It's a long process of really expediting the growth of your email list. You can do it a lot faster with ads as opposed to making an Instagram post every day or something like that. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to say that.
And you have to remember too, with that, like the buying cycle that people go through is getting longer, because trust in the online space is kind of at a low point right now. And so it can take somebody, it used to be, I would say, like 6 to 12 weeks to have found you and then be ready to buy. It's now like 3 to 6 months and sometimes even longer. If your course is even more than like 197, if you're selling like $1,000 course or something like that, then you might even be looking up to like 12 months before somebody has followed you, consumed your content, had all those touch points with you, seeing your name in their inbox every single week or every month before they're ready to even start the process of considering buying from you, right? So it really is a long game. And so building your list consistently over time really facilitates success down the road. And so it's like training for the marathon, right? Like it's those miles that you're putting in over time and growing your list, so that when you do your launch, people have been on your list for 3 or 6 months, and then they're like, oh, I'll go to that webinar. And then, oh yeah, this is great. Like in the open cart, when all the hype's happening, they've already known about you for so long.
Yes, man, that is so true. And I think that because we live in this world of instant gratification and things happen so quickly, new course creators expect to be making sales immediately. And you really have to work on, I always teach in my programs, build your audience first and start your email list before you even start the first module of your course, because it takes a long time. It takes a long time for people to trust you. Plus the economy right now is not at its best. People are choosing between groceries and other things. So yeah, they're not just going to drop $1,000 on a course that from someone they've never heard of. So man,
Yeah.
that is kind of crazy though, like 6 to 12 months. It's good to
Yeah.
be in that right mindset before you even get started. Okay, so how does someone know they're ready to start running Facebook ads?
So I feel like there's two different people. There's the people who are like, never ever will I ever touch a Facebook ad. And then maybe one day they change their mind. And then there's the other people who want to start but are afraid. And you're ready to start running Facebook ads when you have some sort of marketing budget that you're willing to put towards Facebook ads, and you have some sort of freebie in place to run those ads too. I like to see that the freebie has converted organically a little bit already. But really, you can start running ads a lot sooner than I think most people do, as long as you're willing to put the money in. And it's a time versus money choice. Do you want to put the time and energy and effort of posting every single day on Instagram and keeping up with the pinning? Or do you want the Facebook and Instagram ads to do a little bit of that work for you because they're running 24/7 and they can bring people in while you're not posting? You don't necessarily need to have something to sell before you start running ads, but you need to have something in mind. You need to know where you're going so that you can be getting the right people onto your list, that once that course is ready, you'll already have the list built. Because if you're kind of like, well, I want an online business, I don't know, I'm just going to get people on my email list. You might have teachers and moms and fitness enthusiasts and like business owners, you have all kinds of different people. Not all of them are going to be interested in what you have to offer. So knowing what that thing is first really helps facilitate your ads so that they're building your list with the right type of people. Yeah, I think that that's the big thing, is knowing where you're going and having the freebie ready so that people are coming onto your list and they're getting something. And then the next thing after both of those is consistently emailing your list. Because if you're paying to get somebody onto your email list and then you're ghosting them, then you're basically wasting your money, because people probably will not remember who you are. And so when you do start emailing, or you go into a sales phase and you send out your 10 emails in the week or whatever you're doing, but like, who is Jenzea? Like, I don't remember this person, unsubscribe. But if you're consistently showing up every single week or every other week in their inbox, then they'll remember, oh yeah, Jenzea is a Facebook ads person. Let's see what she's selling. Like, let's see what this launch is about, right? And so you want to have that also in place.
Yes, don't ghost. I see that all the time, man. Okay, so just to kind of recap what you said, because that was really good. So you want to kind of make sure you have the end in mind. So, and this is so important when you're making your freebie or your lead magnet. And I've had other episodes on this. You can go back and listen to like how to start an email list, but your lead magnet needs to be directly related to what your course or program, membership, coaching is going to be about. Otherwise, like they said, you're going to have all these random people on your list that aren't interested in your product. So taking the time in the beginning, even if you're one of those people that just like to jump in and figure it out on the way, I am one of those people, but it's really important to be intentional about the freebie that you're creating and making sure that's going to attract the right people. And okay, so you did say something about having the budget. Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, what type of budget should they be looking at in the beginning?
So my like standard across the board recommendation is $25 a day for ads, like the ad spend amount, which is about $750 a month. There are niches, specifically teacher businesses, that can get away with a lower budget, but I wouldn't recommend going too much lower, and just having it in your mind of like the 750, so that that's the amount that you're ready to spend, would be my recommendation. Now, if you only have like, let's say 250, you could run ads for 10 days and then pause. And then the next month, run them again for 10 days and pause and run them again for 10 days. But every month you're running them for 10 days on a consistent basis. You don't necessarily need to wait until you have the full 750 to run the ads for that month, but just whatever your is, being ready to spend it, being comfortable spending it, and not having to make the decision between like groceries or ads. I would go groceries every time.
Yeah, same. Yeah, and I think people are so scared to spend that money, but really you have to at least spend a certain amount of money for Facebook to have enough data to start getting the right people, because the Facebook algorithm is really smart. And I've actually been
Mhm.
testing some ads where I will give it an audience at first, and then I'll go back in and take all the parameters off the audience and just let Facebook run it to whoever, and they find all the right people. Like it's really creepy, but also great for business owners. So, but you have to
Mhm.
have enough money flowing into that ad for Facebook to be able to figure that out. Like who wants this ad? So who else can I show it to that also might want this ad? So yeah, having the right budget is really important. Okay, so starting with the end in mind, making sure that you're intentional, and then having the budget. And then once you're getting these people on your email list, committing to nurturing them every week so that they don't forget about who you are and you're not wasting your money. So I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, I know people are really like afraid of spending money and it being just poof gone. If you're running lead generation ads, I like to talk about the people who are on your list as a form of return on ad spend. It's not a financial return. Like you're not spending $10 on ads and then $10 are going to be in your bank account. But you do have the potential of spending $10 and 10 new people are on your email list. And we know statistically that new people on your email list equals more money in your bank account down the road. So it's not an immediate return on ad spend in a financial sense, but I find that mentality and just thinking about it as the new subscribers are your return on ad spend, it really helps people feel more comfortable spending the money, right? So you put out that $10, you get people on your list, and so you can see the correlation between spending money and what's happening, and just thinking about it in that way, and not necessarily immediately needing the financial return.
Right. Yeah, because your email list size is really what tells you the profit potential for your course or program. So building
Mhm.
that email list is the best way to ensure you have a profitable launch. And you don't have to use ads. So if you are just really scared of ads, you're not making any money yet, it's totally okay to start with organic traffic. The reason I like ads is because it's so much faster. So if you,
Yes.
and it's like you said, it's time versus money. So if you want to spend a whole year building your list and, being consistent on whatever organic platform you want to, and if you have that time, then sure. But you could do it in, I would say, like a fourth of the time, maybe even
Mhm.
less with Facebook ads. It just makes it so much faster. So, and then you're going to make money faster because you're going to grow your list and be able to launch faster. So it's really important to think about kind of the big picture and not just, I'm spending this money and I don't see any immediate return on investment. It's going to come once you launch. You just have to, plan ahead, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say that someone does not feel like they're ready to run Facebook ads yet. What should they be working on right now to help them get ready to do that? And you kind of already talked about like starting with the big picture, making sure that you have the investment, but is there anything else they should be doing to prepare to run Facebook ads?
So I mentioned this already, but consistently emailing your list is important as well, so that you're not getting new people on and then ghosting them. So already being in the habit of emailing your list on a regular, consistent basis. And my recommendation is once a week, but every other week or once a month is a good place to start, with the goal of working up to once a week if you can't start right immediately at once a week. And then similar to that is some sort of long form content that you're putting out on a consistent basis. So that could be video content, live video on Instagram or Facebook or another platform. It could be YouTube videos. It could be a podcast that you're putting out, or regular blog posts. My personal preference is podcasting. There's a really there's really big value in video because they can see and hear you. So if you have the ability to put out consistent video, then that's a really great option. My personal last choice is the blog, because there's no voice involved, there's no video involved, so it takes the longest for people to really get to know you and build a connection with you. But for a lot of people, blogging makes the most sense and is the easiest. All three of them, video, podcast, and blogging, are viable options, but putting out some sort of long form content every single week, or again, once a month, every other week, as long as it's consistent with the goal of building up to once a week. I would recommend working on that before ads as well, if you don't feel like you can start ads first. And then a consistent social media relationship building strategy. I look at social media as like your place where you're building relationships. So especially with stories and DMs and building those connections, building the relationships, because we really buy from people that we know and have those relationships with. And so the DMs stories is a really great way to just facilitate that. So yeah, email strategy, long form content strategy, and a relationship kind of building strategy are my three things that I would be working on if you're not quite ready for ads yet.
Yeah. And that's like the perfect organic marketing strategy right there. Email list is so important. And then I love long form content because it's going to last so much longer than a post. So I even tell my students, Instagram is great, but don't focus on making beautiful posts every day. Like posts are getting, for me personally, just hardly any traffic, but stories, like you said, that's easy to pop on and just talk about what you're doing that day. So it doesn't take a lot of work. But man, podcasting, I so wish I had started that sooner. I just started this podcast, and I guess I was always intimidated by podcasting, and I thought it was going to be really hard. It was really easy to set up. It's so much better than blogging because I hate writing. And yeah, I just think that that is one of the best things that you can do. So if you are not ready to run paid ads, try podcasting. It's so much fun. And it's so much fun to chat with other people too. And it's just having a conversation while you're drinking your coffee, and then that's content. And then you can repurpose that on YouTube or as a blog, like have Chat GPT turn this transcript into a blog post for you. You know, there's lots you can do with the podcast. So I'm totally on board with that.
And I actually highly, highly recommend, even if all you're doing is pulling the transcript and dropping it in a blog post with the podcast player, of having show notes of some sort that people can go to, that you can direct people to. Highly recommend that. You can put a pixel there onto your show notes, so that when you are ready to start running ads, you have built an audience of podcast listeners who are going to your website as well. So that's a little tidbit of tip. And then I was also going to say exactly what you said of repurposing. When I say like a weekly email and a weekly podcast and weekly social media content, I don't mean like you don't need to be doing something different. For my personal business, I put out a podcast every week on Saturdays with a blog post that has a transcript and like a bit of a summary on it. And then on my email about the podcast topic goes out. And then my social media content throughout the week is primarily focused on the podcast. There are other pieces that get pulled in and that come up that I might be interested in, or if I'm doing a collaboration or whatever. But the primary focus of my social media content is my podcast. So everything flows from the podcast, and that works really well for me. For other people, I've worked with people that their social media content is where they start. So they'll take an Instagram post and then they'll expand on it for an email, and they'll expand on it for a blog post, or they start with the email and then they make the blog post. So whichever starting point makes the most sense for you, it doesn't really matter, but just pick one, and then the rest of your content can flow from there every week. Or like if you're on a bi-weekly schedule, you could do podcast one week, email the next week, podcast, email. And so they're still getting something from you every week. And the content, like week 1 podcast, week 2 is the email about podcast last week, right? So you're still not having to come up with completely new content every single week. Those are my little repurposing.
Yeah, this just turned into like the best organic marketing strategy podcast episode. I love it. But it's so true because
it all works together though. Like a
yes.
solid Facebook ad strategy does not happen without a solid organic strategy, which is kind of stressful to say, because then it makes people feel like, oh, I have to be doing all of the things. But we need to be strategic on how we're doing all of the things and coming up with ways that we can reuse that content, and that we're not like having to start fresh every single piece that we're putting out. And if we get to like step 2 of the marketing plan, where we're going into the brand awareness and visibility ads, then that podcast episode that you did, you run ads to that. You're not making new content for the ad. You're just picking the best content you already have, and you're driving more traffic to the podcast. So then somebody listens to the podcast and they're like, oh, this is great. I'm going to opt into the freebie that's associated with the podcast episode. And then they're on your email list and they're getting the emails to remind them to listen to the podcast. Right. So it all is kind of like an ecosystem where everything is connected.
Yes. Yeah. I love using a hybrid of both paid ads and organic. Some people will only teach paid. Some people say don't use paid, only organic, but using them both together is so much smarter. It's so much smarter because it's going to bring you the most traffic. So, and okay, so you mentioned a pixel, and just for anyone that doesn't know what that is, what is that?
It's a little piece of code that goes on the website. And when somebody loads your web page, or like whatever page the pixel is installed on, an actual pixel, it's an invisible pixel, loads. So if you think about like a TV screen or a computer screen, all the little tiny squares, those are pixels. So one of those loads and tells Meta, Jensea has visited this page. And then that's why when you are looking for dog food for your pet, all of a sudden now you're seeing all of these ads for dog vacations and other pet food and this new collar and the invisible fence and all of these different dog things, because you've shown an interest in a dog related thing and the pixel has picked up on that. No information. I know people are really like concerned. No personal information is really conveyed to another person. The algorithm just like aggregates the data and is able to take it, and it's all kind of like a kosher process that happens. I don't know what the best word is, but I know a lot of people are afraid of like, oh well, now like Jensea knows that Lindsay was on her site. I have no idea. I can't see the individual people who have been to any of the sites that have a pixel of mine on it. But the algorithm takes that information and says, oh, Lindsay's interested in these different things, and that's wrong with it.
Yeah, and Facebook just does that so that you can have really a customized experience with your ads. So you're not being served all these ads for stuff that you don't care about. Most of the ads you see on your feed are because you have visited a website or you have liked a page on Facebook. You've taken some type of action to tell Facebook Meta that you might be interested in that particular product or lead magnet. So
because you have to remember,
creepy, but it's good.
Meta's like one of their main, if not their main income source is ads. So they want the ads to be the most positive possible experience for everyone, from the consumer, the person scrolling Facebook, to the person running ads, to the companies that are profiting from. Like they want everybody, because the more positive an experience it is for everybody, the more ads that people are willing to run, the more likely you are to click on an ad. And when you click on it, and like it just all plays into it. So they want the ad experience to be the best for the consumer. And so the algorithm really is doing its best to figure out like, what kind of things will you actually click on? Will you actually do? I get a lot of ads on Instagram when I'm on my phone for games because I will download the game, and that's what they want me to do. Right.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for to play it for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh, this looks like a lot of fun. I'm such a sucker for it. So I get so many of those ads. And so if you are clicking on ads or you're doing the thing that they want, it might be watch the video, it might be click on the link, it might be download the game, it might be sign up, you're more likely to get more of those ads because, again, you're doing what they want you to do. So yeah. And if you report ads, you're like, this is not for me, this is bad content, you're more likely to get less of those. Now, I don't recommend you like report spam on not spammy ads, but you can click on like, don't show me this anymore, not relevant to me, so that it helps to further customize your ad experience so that you are just getting ads that like really are relevant to you.
Yeah. And so speaking of the pixel, this is probably a step you should take even before you're ready to run ads. If you have a website and you're putting long form content on there, like a blog or even like show notes from your podcast, go ahead and install the pixel on that website. You can Google it. There's YouTube videos. Ask
Yeah.
someone to help. And that way Facebook can start tracking the people that are on your website so that when you're ready to run ads, they already know, okay, these are the people that are interested in this person's product, this person's business, and you already kind of have a warm audience started.
Yeah. And the pixel doesn't go retroactively. So it only starts from like the day it's installed. And like you said, if I'm working with a new platform, I just Google like Squarespace and Facebook Pixel or Meta Pixel, lead pages, and they all have to like help articles. And then a lot of them also, people have done YouTube videos about them. If you're using WordPress, my recommendation is the Pixel Your Site plugin, but there are other options. TPT, if you have a TPT store, you can install your Pixel there. And as long as your business has like one main facet, you can use the same pixel. So Lindsay and I have similar experiences where we have kind of like two branches to our business. My TPT store is specifically for French immersion, like primary immersion math teachers. So I have one TPT pixel for those people. And then I have a second pixel for my Facebook ads business because it's for teacher business owners. So I have two very different audiences. So I have two pixels. But if your blog and your website is for your TPT store people, the same people, you want one pixel. You do not need multiple pixels.
Yep. And once you create a pixel, you can't delete it. So don't create a bunch of new pixels.
I have two do not use pixels in my own personal ad account because I made them before I learned about that.
Same.
So yes.
We all do. It's okay. It's okay if you accidentally make an extra one. You just need to remember which one is the right one and which one is not.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's actually get into, so someone is ready to run Facebook ads. What are the first steps? What do they need to do?
Go in and set up your ads manager. Make sure that your Facebook page is connected, your Instagram page is connected, that you have an ad account, you have a payment, like all of those kind of fundamental steps are set up. And then yeah, find somewhere that you're going to like copy the steps, because the first couple of times you're probably going to want a tutorial up, whether it's a course like the one that I offer. I mean, did they mine's in the vault right now, but like it could be a course, it could be YouTube videos, and you're going to like step by step walk through it. But even before you do that, you need the landing page, you need the actual freebie and a way to deliver it. So that email sequence set up, images and ad copy. Those are kind of the basics. It's so much though.
It is. And I feel like so many people, you kind of like, you said the first step and it was like multiple steps. And I feel like so many people get stuck on one of those steps because even if I like make a video tutorial on how to set up your first ad account, it's going to be different by the time they're ready to do it because it just is going to look different because Facebook is always changing, like even the way the platform looks. But you said, okay, so they need to, so how do you even get to ads manager? Like some people don't even know that. Do they need to set up like a business account?
Yeah. So if you've ever boosted a post on Facebook or Instagram, which most people who have businesses in my experience have boosted a post, you will already have it will already have happened behind the scenes without you even knowing it. But if you go into the ads manager, and so hold on, I will get the actual, what is it? Facebook.com/ads manager will get you there.
Okay. And just for people that are like brand new, you have to have a Facebook business page. So you don't run ads from your personal account. You have to make a page.
And it will prompt you to do all of those things if you don't have it in place. So when I go to the ads manager, like facebook.com/ads manager, it opens up the actual ads manager for me. But if I were to log into my husband's account, it would pull up a page that's like, create your business account, because he doesn't have that already.
So
and it's a very easy process. Like it literally walks you step by step through of naming the business, connecting the pages that you need to connect. I would say about 75% of the strategy sessions that I do, this is what we're doing, is walking through setting up the ad account so that it's set up in the right way, creating audiences, making sure that those are all in place before you run ads, because it is a stressful time of running ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is really telling the listeners that it's important to potentially either invest in some kind of program membership to help you, or pay someone at least to make sure that you're setting it up correctly. Because I see this a lot too,
Mhm.
is people will try to set it up, but then they'll make like 5 pixels, or they'll not connect their Instagram, or they'll make, and there's so many things that need to be connected. And I feel like Facebook just makes it like reasonably hard, but they'll make an ads account, but the ad account isn't connected to their business account. So
Yeah.
they're not, they can't run ads. Anyway,
It's harder to do that now. They've made it, you used to be able to run ads through your personal account or your business account.
oh, really?
And so a lot of people have been running ads through their personal account, and I can't access somebody's personal account. So I'm like, oh, we have to restart everything in a business account
Yeah.
where I can access. Um, they've made it harder to do that now. They don't want you running ads through your personal account. So it really like pushes and defaults to a business account and like create business. Like I connect it, which is good because that's how it should be. There's very few reasons why you should be running ads through a personal account. I can't think of any reason. Even if you're a sole proprietor, like Canada, it's kind of the equivalent of an LLC. But like even less of a business, if you will, in some ways. But as a sole proprietor, like I still want to be running my ads through a business account. I still want to separate that. I still want the business identity and my personal identity separate. The other reason why I think it's very valuable to have somebody else help you through that is make sure you have things like your domain has been verified, you have two-factor identification turned on. I try to always have a conversation on these strategy sessions now in the last like 6 months, especially about how to be sure your account is secure, because there's just so many more instances of hacking that are happening. And so what are some of the ways that you can protect yourself from that hacking from happening? Yeah, so having somebody who like knows what they're talking about, does this on a regular basis, and is in accounts every single day can just help you feel more confident that you have set it up in the right way.
Yeah. 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 There are so many pieces. As you were just talking through this, I was like, oh, yeah, I had to do that and how to do this piece. And I just want to say again, like, we're not trying to scare you from running Facebook ads. Facebook ads have completely changed my business. They have helped me have great success with launches. I primarily have relied on Facebook ads. In fact, I've just really started focusing more on organic marketing just because of time limitations. So they're amazing. But to DIY them is harder now than ever, I think, because they're just changing all the time. So even YouTube videos that you find, it's probably going to look different on inside their ads manager than what you're currently seeing. It's just hard to keep up with it. So finding someone that knows what they're doing and is doing it every day, at least to even get you set up. I feel like the setup part is the hardest part. And then, actually setting up an ad really isn't that bad. Now you need strategy behind it. It might not be a good ad, but just setting it up, the audience and that kind of thing isn't terrible. But okay. So those are kind of the first steps, but also find someone to help if you can. Okay. So just kind of one last question about ads. So how have ads changed your business? Or I know you work with a lot of people. How have ads changed their business?
So a lot of what you're saying of like the time freedom of being able to grow your list consistently and just having that really big impact on launches and the trajectory of your business long term. I've seen that countless times. I've also seen them like really just take that stress, social media off of people's plates, because as social media, the algorithm has got harder to work with and growth strategies just stop working or aren't working, or the amount of content we just have to put out is changing and increasing. I feel like that has added just a huge stressor on people. And I've seen Facebook ads be able to kind of like take that away because they don't have to do as much of the heavy lifting. And again, it comes back to like, are you able to put the time and energy in, or are you able to put money into it? And I think at the beginning of our businesses, we really do have the time to put in. And then as it grows, we really need to shift towards the money. So I've seen that just like really, really impact people as their email lists have grown, their businesses become more stable, and their launches, their sales, their promos that they're doing are just getting bigger and more successful year after year. So I think
That's
that
so true.
those are the big ways.
And even, yeah, just personally for me too, now I have, my teacher course on Evergreen. And so I don't do anything with that business really. I mean, I work maybe an hour a week just checking
Mhm.
ads and making sure everything looks good. But once you have some ads that are working for you and converting well, I'll get between 7 and 10 sales of my course a week from ads. And yes, I'm spending money to make money, but I am making, a lot more money than I'm spending. So I'm fine with that.
Mhm.
And I don't have to spend any time on it. So I'm consistently bringing in income for my family because I am running these ads and I don't really have to do anything. Now that takes time to set up. That's not going to be something that happens in the beginning, but just for all of you looking forward, that can really be something to kind of strive for. Once you get your course set up and you're launching and all of that, then you can really use ads to kind of put it on autopilot. So yes, Jinsei, this has been so informative and so helpful for people that are even not ready to run ads. You gave like a stellar organic marketing strategy for them. And then people that are ready to run ads, that was just awesome. So I always ask my guests this: can you tell me something that you've done or you plan to do that is an act of generosity?
Okay, so this is all thanks to my business, actually. I got the idea, I don't remember where. I loosely follow the profits first method where like specific percentages go. And so I got the idea of taking a percentage and putting it to like donations. And so recently I bought a gift card from the grocery store for my school, and I just gave it to the secretary and I was like, use this however you think is necessary. And it just felt really good to like know, because there are kids at my school that they help feed. We don't have like a nutrition program or anything like that. So the school and the parent council is actually the one who does it. So I know that it'll be going to good use, and that just like felt good for me. I grew up in a household, I don't tell a lot of people this, but where like food insecurity was part of my norm. And so just understanding really deeply where those kids are at and knowing that I could make a little bit of difference
That's
was,
awesome.
and
It
that
also,
it was my business. My
yeah,
business is able to make that difference for people.
that's
So
what I was gonna say, because I mean, a lot of people, they don't have extra money right now to help
mhm.
others, and that, that's just the reality. But when you have this business and you're making some extra income, it's so nice to be able to put some of that income back into the community and help others. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, so Jinsea, this is awesome. Can you tell people where they can find you? Maybe they want to work with you to at least get their ads set up. How can they work with you?
So the best place to find me is my podcast, Market Scale Grow. I put out weekly episodes on Saturday, as I said, and we talk a lot about pretty much everything we talked about in this episode: Facebook ads, and then the holistic marketing approach that I fully believe in. And then if you're looking to work with me, you can send me a DM on Instagram and we can chat about exactly what you're looking for and how to set up the strategy session. You can find me on Instagram at Hey, it's Jenzea.
Awesome. And we'll put those links in the show notes below so that you can find Jinsea and work with her. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. This was so much fun. Jinsea, it's always fun to chat. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.
Thanks so much for having me.